I need you to tell me that I'm a good person. I know that I can be selfish and narcissistic and self-destructive, but underneath all that, deep down, I'm a good person.
Greetings, fellow mortals. Just a reminder, saying it's just my opinion is for cowards. Oh, and expect spoilers for the entirety of the Fallout show from here on out. One of the first characters that we're introduced to after the bombs drop is Lucy MacLean. She's a survivor from Vault 33. Her people have avoided interacting with the nuclear wasteland that is the United States for hundreds of years. As such, her personality is completely unaffected by the real world. Instead, she's been raised in a tiny bubble where politeness and ethics remain supreme. At least one type of ethics. After all, the show starts out by demonstrating how very messed up the culture is within the vault sometimes. At the start of the series, Lucy is campaigning for a breeding program with a brother vault, meaning that all conceptions and births are heavily regulated within the bunker. While this makes logical sense, there is automatically the ethical hole in terms of body autonomy within the vault because that's the way it's always been. And I do think that's good writing, don't get me wrong, it's good world building. I did something very similar in my sci-fi post-apocalyptic book Above Heaven. But even I didn't go a step further with what Vault 33 did with cousin play. Yep, that is very much allowed, but no marriage or babies with family members at least. I think that this is a very interesting and intentional hole in a hippie society, one which makes you question the actual underlying morality of the vault dwellers from the start, because ew.
I'm fine, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
But nevertheless, Lucy demonstrates that she's polite, considerate, well-trained, and well-read from the very start. The attack from the Raiders does demonstrate her naivete and total trust in the vault, which is eventually shattered when her father is taken. This encourages her to exit the vault, spouting idealistic thoughts which mean nothing to the survivors on the surface. She even uses a tranq gun in an attempt to save lives. And as educated as she is on literature and ethics, Lucy is instantly shown to be out of her depth in the wasteland. She's instantly saved and warned by a scientist with a dog on the first day. He tells her that she can't survive with her current mindset. This and her weird interaction with a man trying to turn sand into water are the few positive interactions that she will have for a long time. Right as she arrives at the settlement of Philly, she's confronted with the rude and confrontational nature of real-life survivors. She quickly learns that nothing is gained for free in the wasteland when she flees from a battling Maximus and Cooper, guiding the doctor from before to safety, only for him to flatline himself on her using the humorously named Plan D, and thus she has to carry the head of Dr. Wilzig to her destination to find her father.
Nobody's messing with your head. Get out of my head! No, nobody's messing with your head.
From there, Lucy's interactions with Cooper the Ghoul begin. He's the survivor among survivors, the guy that knows everything about the wastelands, the level 99 character. He has seen and done it all, and Cooper scoffs at calls for immoral behavior, almost laughing at the idea of the golden rule. In her short time with him, Lucy sees the brutality of surviving, being used as bait, watching Cooper kill and eat a former friend, not knowing what happens when a ghoul turns feral, of course, and even getting sold to an organ harvester. This is when the reality of the real world dawns on her. Most of the people have lost their minds or have become complete monsters. She sees that trusting humanity will only get her killed, and that she will have to take lives to save her own if she wants to reach her father. This creates a divide in her mind between vault dwellers and surface survivors, where the vaults are the best place to be, and the people within the vaults are the only ones that she can trust. At the same time, Lucy still abides by the golden rule. Treat others like she would want to be treated. Having the full information on ghouls now, Lucy shows pity and mercy on Cooper, despite how terribly he treated her.
Yeah, I'm fucking better than you, okay? Much better than you. You are garbage.
From here, Lucy meets up with Maximus again. Having seen him fight for her, she's still skeptical even if she wants to help him. Her interactions with him place the Brotherhood of Steel on the good side in her mind. Despite everything that happened, she still believes in mostly black and white instead of the gray, which is the Fallout world. This is demonstrated when her attempt to peacefully bypass cannibals fails miserably. Mercy and compassion is meaningless to some people, leaving her exhausted and far more skeptical of people. But then that leads to the trouble within Vault 4. Her newly found skepticism jumps into overdrive when she and a wounded Maximus are pulled into the vault for medical treatment. Seeing outsiders within the vault and mutated people as well causes alarm bells to sound in her head, especially when she sees an odd religious ceremony and a forbidden floor which holds the secret of Vault 4's past. That's when Lucy loses her mind and lashes out.
I'm freaking out, man. You are freaking out, man.
But that's also when Lucy learns the most important lesson on morality. You cannot make ethical decisions without hearing all of the information possible. Lucy assumes the worst of the people around her, thinking that the outsiders were the ones who ruined the vault when the vault was ruined from the start. She learns that almost every single vault has a secret experiment within the bunkers, and that the surviving vault dwellers within Vault 4 are descended from people mutated by deranged scientists gone mad on power and control, and it wasn't the man that had acid poured on his face by Lucy. Good job, Lucy. Okie dokie then. Lucy swung her morality in the complete opposite direction. Instead of thinking the best of everyone, she thought the worst. She thought the vault dwellers were better than the surface survivors. But she was wrong. Lucy lives in a broken world where everyone and everything is a little bit crazy. People in vaults are cowards, unwilling to face reality. The people behind the vaults are the ones who caused the madness. And the best you can hope for a group of survivors who has experienced the worst atrocities that mankind has to offer is that they end up being just a little eccentric. Does the religious ceremony hurt anyone? No? Then take off your clothes and bathe in the ashes of the dead for all I care. Being involved with that ceremony isn't even required to stay in the vault. Talk about as perfect as it gets in post-apocalyptic land.
All human souls will be transmuted when Zorp the lizard god passes through Jupiter's sphincter.
Hail Zorp.
Hail Zorp!
Lucy's mistake causes her and Maximus to be kicked out of the safe vault for the crimes of hurting citizens, although Maximus's banishment was his own fault for not hearing all of the information as well. But this causes Lucy to understand what true morality is in a post-apocalyptic world, trying to recognize your mistakes and be better than you were the day before. She demonstrates this with her final interactions with Maximus as he helps the man who betrayed him and surrenders to the Brotherhood of Steel for her sake. For once, her attempts to hold the golden rule up finally influence someone in a positive way, with Maximus no longer thinking only about what he wants, and Lucy understanding that she can't hold everyone to perfect standards, especially in this world, but there is still a line that she knows cannot be crossed. And with everything she learned in mind, Lucy arrives to find her father. This time she wants to hear all available information before she comes to a decision. She realizes that her own father was actually a monster, that everything she knew about the world was a lie, and that the only way to help the planet is to actively interact with it instead of running away. And as such, Lucy decides to do something that she never thought she would: team up with Cooper.
So thank you and curse you.
Mirroring her journey while captured by the ghoul, Lucy raises a gun and points it at a person she knew and loved. Her mother had been turned into a feral, charred ghoul, and she wouldn't leave her mom like that. Just like Cooper, she wouldn't want to be feral. So also like him, she puts her mother out of her misery and journeys out into the wastelands once again to find her father, who is currently fleeing the scene because his daughter knows everything. This time, the mission isn't about saving him, it's about stopping him, because that's the right thing to do, even if it hurts, even if it involves teaming up with someone who hurt her, even if it means becoming more like what she thought she once hated. But even then, Lucy is still determined to hold true to the golden rule. Treat others how you would want to be treated. But this time, it's not clouded through blind naivete or acute paranoia. For once, Lucy sees the world clearly, and she knows what she has to do to set things right. But the question remains is if she will be able to hold on to her newly found moral code. Will Cooper's influence corrupt her? That's going to be Lucy's story going forward. Is she going to remain true to her ideals, be a static character, or will she fall into darkness like so many people have in the Wasteland? And that's a great part about Lucy's story, is finding out that not everything that you believed when you were younger is completely true. You have to be both open-minded and respectful, but also skeptical of other people's intent. That's a hard enough line to walk in the real world, let alone this dark apocalypse of Fallout. And I think the show did a great job of demonstrating this, while recognizing that there are shades of gray, but there is also true evil in the world, and those people do need to be stopped. But how far are you willing to go to stop true evil? That's going to be the real question going forward. You're welcome to disagree with all this. That's fine. After all, everyone is entitled to their objectively wrong opinion.
War never changes.